everyone, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Wednesday, the 31st of July 2019. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and especially today because we have Mercury, the communication planet, going direct. So the communication and transportation issues that have been plaguing us for the last 2 weeks are really going to come to an end. And also the emotional miscommunication that's been happening comes to an end. You may have found yourself thinking things about yourself which you've never thought before, which are totally inaccurate, and which have made you feel totally out of sorts. So kind of sanity returns in a way. The way you think becomes clearer, and self-care becomes something that's much easier to achieve. So instead of listening to the negative voice of the ego, you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, instead of listening to all of those kind of thoughts. And the good thing about this kind of thing is when you have those thoughts, take stock of them and notice how they feel and the texture of them and how you respond and what they kind of almost smell like and feel like and taste like, and replace those thoughts with I am more than enough, I am incredibly talented, I am beautiful, I am amazing, I am a divine, unique child of the universe. And listen to those messages and feel and hear and touch and taste and try and capture the essence or the quality of what that feels like when you hear those thoughts, because in future what you'll be able to do is differentiate between those negative ego thoughts and those positive higher self thoughts, because you know how each feels. So when you're in the negative headspace, suddenly you'll be like, oh, I've been here before, I recognize this, I know this. Time to deliberately make a switch. So that's why the Mercury retrograde is helpful. It teaches us how to find alternate ways of communicating with ourselves and avoiding some of these pitfalls. Ooh, this is nice. I wonder if I'm going to get banned for nudity. Okay. We've got the Emperor, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, and we've got the Lovers. Okay. So, the Emperor is looking rather paranoid. He's got these Aries rams here. He looks like Khal Drogo, and or the throne looks like Khal Drogo's throne from Game of Thrones. He had loads of Taurus and ram's heads and all sorts of horned creatures on his throne, and I thought that was such a great depiction of the Khal, the leader of this very kind of grisly culture, because that's what it takes to be king. You have to fight and push your way through. Strength is what counts, not lineage, not the bloodline, but your strength to fight your way to the throne, to usurp the kingdom, to usurp the power, not because you're born into it, but because you grab it for yourself. So the red cloak, I want the power, I want the throne, the armor. I'm expecting a little bit of resistance, but I don't care. I'm going to get it for myself anyway. Then he's got the scepter and the orb, which means that he is king, the crown. So the people he rules have accepted him as their king, and he is divinely anointed as far as he's concerned and as far as the people are concerned. But what's interesting is that this orb is almost like a crystal ball, or it looks like planet Earth. And this emperor, he's surrounded by nature, which isn't always the case. So he is meant to be on this throne. He is a good king. He is an emperor who is strong and strict, but he's someone who is really supposed to be in this position. He's in the right place at the right time, and he can glimpse the future. And because he can glimpse the future, he had the power to keep fighting even when the chips were down, because he realized that he was going to end up on the throne. So the same thing is with you. Look at what's in your mind today and see what the future holds for you. Look at yourself in a couple of months from now. Look at yourself in a year from now. See yourself thriving and skipping along with your soulmate, or kissing on the beach, or being at the head of the conference table and saying, this is how we're going to do it, fellow employees, or my employees, and I'm the boss. Or see yourself in the situation that you're going to be in, and you get a little glimpse of the future, which then motivates you and gives you the courage to fight your way towards that future. Because not everything in life is handed to you on a silver platter. A lot of people in the spiritual New Age community, this always gets me. This is one of my pet peeves. Oh, it was a little bit difficult, so it probably isn't meant to be. Like, oh, I had to make an effort, so it's probably not meant to be. The universe doesn't want me to do it. No, if you want something in life, most of the things in life that are great and wonderful, you need to work for. So you get the message from the universe. That doesn't mean that the kingdom is going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You still have to do the legwork, and you still have to push yourself forward and challenge yourself and say, I am going to step into the limelight. Even though I'm not a natural public speaker, I'm going to address my people and motivate them and get them to fight with me. It's not, some people weren't paying attention, so it's probably not meant to be, la-di-da. That attitude isn't going to get you anywhere. So if there are obstacles and if there are blocks, don't let that dissuade you, and see yourself where you want to be in the future. And as soon as you see that, the ego is going to jump in and say, but you can't because you live here and you can't get a visa and you don't have the education and you have no experience and no. So push through all of those obstacles until you get to the place that you love, and the Wheel of Fortune is supporting you, is helping you, because the Wheel of Fortune is transitioning into a space in your life that's happier than where you are now. So the Emperor, you being in charge, you being the boss, that already exists in spiritual truth. It's just that the earthy, physical reality has to catch up with that. Okay, it's destined to be that you're in charge, that you take charge of your life, and whatever it is that your dream is, that's already there in spiritual truth. So see yourself having the financial freedom, the boyfriend, or the twin flame, the career success, the invention that you've always wanted to create. See yourself as having that. Then go with the flow here. The Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. We've got all the different elements here. We've got earth and fire and air and water. All of them are winged creatures, so everything can take flight. There's a warrior angel there fighting on your behalf, a warrior sphinx rather. Then we've got the snakes here on the side, and one of the Anubis, one of the Egyptian gods. And it turns around, and sometimes wisdom is in charge, and sometimes magic is in charge, and sometimes thought processes and air is in charge, but it doesn't matter. The wheel is always turning, and you are in charge of all of these elements. So whatever is required of you at a specific moment, you're able to present. So let's say there's an argument that has to be overcome. You have the information to win that argument. Next, there is credentials that need to be brought forward. You have the credentials that you can present so that you can pass that obstacle and move forward. Then there's experience and a question of whether you're motivated enough to do this because you don't have the exact experience. And you're able to work your way through that by saying, well, I do have experience in this other field and it is transferable as far as I'm concerned, and I do have a strong passion for it, and you make your case and you prove it, and you do so well to the extent that you free yourself of that obstacle, you overcome it, you fly over it, and you get to a place where you are in the Garden of Eden, and you are together with the thing or the person you love. We've got this amazing angel here. He's on fire. He kind of looks like Archangel Michael. And he is saying, I bless this union. And it's fiery and passionate. And I bless these two coming together. And the man's reaching out to the woman. And they are going to be together. They're meant for each other, and she isn't so sure. He's kind of really interested, whatever. Ultimately, it's gonna work out for them. You could also look at it as they're not quite sure yet, and once they kind of get to know each other and they start to be with one another and they make love, that they create this angel. Because their lovemaking creates something that is divine and angelic. So you can either see it as this is divinely ordained and they've been brought together, or their actual work as soulmates, as twin flames, working together creates something divine and angelic. It works both ways. We've got the snake here and the whole Garden of Eden story. The snake saying, take a bite. And isn't this the God? There's the tree of knowledge and there's the tree of life. I think they ate the apple from the tree of knowledge, which made them realize that they were naked and that they then had to cover themselves up. And the tree of knowledge or eternal life or immortality or something they didn't bother with. They then get kicked out of the Garden of Eden because in the Old Testament God is really a bad landlord. He's like, you break the rules, you are out, and you are on the scorched hard earth forever. No second chances. For the next thousands and millennia, you're going to be on the scorched earth because you didn't follow instructions, and because I dangled this tree in front of you with juicy, ripe fruit, and I told you not to eat it, while dangling it right in front of you and making it super attractive and juicy, and I let a snake into the garden, being God, being all-knowing, I allowed the snake to come in to test you and to kind of really make it easy for you to eat this apple. And then once you do it, I'm going to kick you out and really punish you forever and ever. And I'm going to make childbirth super hard for you, and I'm going to make life hell. So that's what God is in the Old Testament. Really rough. Vengeful, not very forgiving, really rather like a really strident and strict landlord who only lets... I mean, you'd have to have a lobotomy not to eat the apple, really. I mean, if it's there in front of you and if it looks so juicy, and I mean, human nature is that, you know, we want more, we want to explore. And if we're looking at this from a religious angle, if you create human beings, you ought to know your own creation, that it's super inquisitive and that it's always gonna go after the things that you forbid. Especially if you say, don't think about the elephant, then all the person is going to do is think about the elephant. That's just the way it is. Don't eat from this apple tree, then of course you're going to eat from the apple tree, because we want to see what happens if we do. And that's the nature of, I never got that story. I always just thought it's like, God, talk about overreacting to something. Anyway, so what this means for you today, I got totally sidetracked there. You are in charge of your whole life. You're able to get to where you want to go. The wheels of change are turning, and you will be able to get to have that connection and that thing that you want in your life, whether it's love or a connection with the divine, or being a boss, or having your own employment, or having financial freedom. All you need to do is think about it, have it in your mind's eye, and you will work your way towards it. It's really interesting because this has been a theme lately, that we're very much in a manifestation period of being able to create our own destinies. And the new moon on the 1st of August, so tomorrow, is also very much about that. It's about manifesting who you are. So watch that video on the new moon. It's very much about manifestation, all of that. The thing with God I just mentioned is that God is the God of the Old Testament. I really do believe in God, and I don't believe in the God of the Old Testament. I believe in a loving God. I believe in a higher power that is there and that has amazing plans for my life and that loves me, and it's unconditional, and I can feel it, and I can see the evidence of it acting and intervening in my life. I can see that. But I was brought up with this religion, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know if I'm wrong or right or whatever, but what I do know, okay, what I can 100% say is that I was very disconnected for 29 years. And when I became willing to take a step towards a higher power of my understanding, that power took a step towards me, and we met, okay? And since that meeting, my whole life has changed. I have lived 2 lifetimes in 1 lifetime, and the life where I've let the higher power in, where I've let the higher power be in charge, be in the driver's seat, that life has worked much better for me than being by myself and thinking I am the boss. So think about what the universe is guiding you to do, and that's why it's important to be able to differentiate between ego guidance and higher self guidance, because the higher self guidance is what the universe wants you to do. When you listen to that and you do the legwork, it works with you and it does everything it can to help you achieve that. And at the end of that is passion and love. And whether it's physical and spiritual love, like these 2 people being together and having that divine union of the flesh, as they say, or whether it's you really finding your love when it comes to expressing yourself in work. Whatever it is, you will find it, and it's divinely ordained, and the angels want you to get there. So take charge of your life. Try again. If you're 66 and you're like, God, I really haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve. I've had the children. I wasted 20 years of my life in addiction. It's too late for me. The ship has sailed. No, it's not. Today can be the first day of you manifesting the new you in future, the person that you're going to be for the next 10 years. You wouldn't be around if you didn't have a future ahead of you. So number-wise, we've got 4 and 10 is 14, and 6 is 20. 20 reduces to 2 in numerology, and 2 is about cooperation, and it's a relationship. So listen to the relationship messages from your higher self, not the ego. Be willing to put in the legwork, and you're going to manifest the future in the way that you want it to be and look, and it's going to be the best future ever. It's going to be the best future you can possibly ever have. So have a wonderful day. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Have a wonderful day. Check out the video on the new moon in Leo. and subscribe to the channel, share the videos if you like them. And like I said, if you do have any questions at all about anything, life purpose, relationships, what's going to happen in future, your life purpose, your destiny, love, money, where you should live, anything like that, then get in touch for a private reading, gregoryscott.com. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.